Okay guys, we got a 2006 F-550 here, Ford, Power Stroke. What else can I tell you? 6.0, you should know that if it's a Power Stroke, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do something really quick that I normally don't do on these vehicles. I get a lot of people that say I'm long-winded, I talk a lot, I describe too much, blah, 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 get to the point. I'm doing this for people who don't know exactly what to do and they need step-by-step directions. So let me just make this clear real quick for you guys who are mechanics and just want some information. You're going to use a Mercron LV on this. It's a synthetic oil that you must use in this transmission. If you are just changing, there's two filters. If you're just going to change the filter and top it off, you will be using 7.5 quarts. If you're going to flush it out, you're going to use 19 quarts, 19.02 quarts if you're going to drain the torque converter as well. Again, two filters. One is going to be under the pan. The other is going to be up by your radiator. The one in the pan is just a flat, normal internal filter. The one over by the radiator, just follow your transmission lines. You'll see the small canister. It's going to take a small internal filter. It's about that big around and about that long. So there's your two filters. There's your fluid type, and there's your weight. There's your amount, etc. Say goodbye to those guys. So appreciate you guys. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't. Now let's get to what we need to do to step-by-step direction, and I'll try not to be long-winded. Okay, so let's get up underneath there. There's going to be a drain pan bolt on this transmission that is a 1/2 inch. Let's drop that bolt, drain the fluid out of it, and then we'll pull the bolts around the outside of the pan, the other 20 bolts, because then the pan won't come down sloshing, be heavy, because it is a deep pan. This way we can just take the pan right off without spilling it all over the place. So let's get that drained and pull our 10mm bolts. Again, 20 of those. The plug is a 1/2 inch. Okay, here we are up underneath. I have pulled this bolt already. It's been dripping into my pan. I'm ready to stick that back in. Now that's the 1/2 inch. Here we go. Now there's a couple of things I want to mention about this if you are new to this. I like to use air because it's quick, it's easy, so I use the impact to buzz them all off. I never use air to put them back on. I'm going to show you how to tighten up this pan, simple and easy, and how you will not have a leak. 9 out of 10 leaks on a transmission pan is because you over tightened them. So let me show you how to do that. So we'll get this bolt tightened back up, and let's buzz off all 20 of these and drop our pan down with the gasket. Okay, I'm on the passenger side of the vehicle looking at the top. Here's the cross member for the transmission. These first 3 bolts, I used a 6-inch extension with a swivel, but now I can take the swivel off and just buzz them all off with just the extension in the socket. That's in order to get around the cross member and get up into there. So I hope that makes sense. You can't just go straight up. You'll see when you get on yours. So now let's just go ahead and buzz the other 17 off. Got a little dish here to stick them in so I don't lose them. And all right, let me buzz them off. Well, just took the pan and just set it right down there on the ground. Here's our filter. FK300, guys. Sorry about that. I forgot to tell the other guys that FK300 is what they want on the filter. That's the filter number, so part number. So now we're just going to grab hold of it, and we're just going to give her a wiggle and pull it down and make sure that the seal is in there. It is not. See that? That happens a lot. And so when you try to stick the new filter in, the new seal is up in there and you can't get it in. You end up doing some damage. So if the seal is not on this filter, and it is not, then it's inside. So now we need to get that seal out of there. So let's grab a little picky tool and let's get that seal out. Okay, I want to get some light on it real quick to show you the seal. It's like an orange in color. Do you see it right there? So make sure that seal is on yours when you pull it out, and if it is not, and I'm glad this happened so I could show you. So I'm just going to grab a little picky tool and I'm just going to pull that straight out and try my hardest not to scratch the walls of this, but it should be pretty easy. Okay guys, now we can grab our new one. Now I think I said FK300. This part number is an FK360. So all right, so here is our hole. Here's the washer. I ended up having to push a screwdriver in there sideways carefully and push that thing sideways. It was stuck in there pretty hard. So now we can grab the new one and we'll just grab and just shove it right up. It should work its way right in. Takes a little bit of a wiggle, but she'll see it when she's down. And right there it's seated. So let's get this pan out now and clean it up. Okay guys, so here we got the pan out. Now here's a couple things I noticed. One, when the fluid came out, it was really clean. You've seen that. the filter may be extremely plugged for that reason. You can see how dark this is, and that filter is. The other thing I noticed is a little bit of black dust in there. That's normal, don't get worried about that. And then the third thing I noticed was the date on here, 2013 of June. It's been 5 years since this has been changed. How many miles is that? I don't know, but that's an awful long time, I would think. So the gasket just pulled right up, got lucky about that. Now we'll just take the pan over and clean it up. Now, if you've seen my other videos how I do this, I have a designated spot where I recycle the dirt. I reuse it and then I burn it, and then I ended up throwing it in the dumpster. But you can reuse it many times, and dirt cleans these pans unbelievably clean. Then when I'm done with the dirt, I rinse it with water, then I dry it really well, and the dirt cleans it better than the parts washer. But this one is not in that bad a shape, and I like to show you the cheap way. I always like to show you the cheap way. Click on my name underneath this video and you can search I think I did it on a 1500, a Chevy 1500, to show you how to clean them if you don't have a parts washer. But this one's not bad. I'm going to take it to the parts washer because it's just going to take me a couple seconds. So let's get it cleaned up and let's get it ready to put back on. Okay guys, so now that I've got it cleaned up, parts washer did a pretty good job there. Not as good as dirt does. So now I like to sit it on a flat piece of concrete. If you can listen to this, it's not flat. Look at that. So that needs to be pretty flat. There's something I do to every pan, even if it's brand new. If you've seen my other videos, you already know what I'm gonna do. One is, see how that's bent right there? That's probably because the PTO is there. So I'll bend that back straight just a little bit. But the second thing is to take a socket that fits in between and I place it on top of every single hole, whether I think it needs it or not, and I give it a little tap. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands, but I do that to every single hole. It's called pinging. Well, it's what I call pinging. So a buddy of mine years ago, about 20 years ago, showed me this trick. You do it to every single pan no matter what. Again, you'll never have a leak. So let's go ahead and ping every single hole. Let's get this thing flat again. It only took a minute just to ping every single one of them. Remember that side how it rocked? Much better. Now you'll know when you ping it, you can see a little round mark where the bolt was. That gets squeezed down. So I like to make those all completely straight with the bottom of the concrete, as long as it's a flat piece of concrete. And you'll know because when you hit it, it's got a thud sound, and if it bounces back at you, it's not completely flat. But normally only takes just one time around. All right, let's get the gasket put on there. Here's our bolt, a little bit of brake clean on it, and that'll help clean them up real quick. Okay, so now we got our bolts cleaned up a little bit, got our new pan gasket. Let's get up underneath there and put this thing on. I do not like using any type of glue, any type of RTV glue. If you have a kink in your thing, just straighten it out the best you can. Try not to use that stuff because it too causes leaks on transmission pans. I don't like them. So let's get crawled up under there and let's get this in. Okay guys, so now I just got them started. Do yourself a favor, before you tighten this pan, see it's still loose, go around and make sure every single bolt turns a few times, because if they're not lined up, you're gonna have a problem. So just go around and snug them up evenly, and don't tighten any one of them until they're all in. Now we'll go ahead and snug it up, and let me show you how tight you're gonna tighten this. Directly under the radiator, you can see the transmission lines here where they go in, and just follow them and they go right to this little cooler. This is our second filter right here. Sorry that's so blurry. It looks like that's been broke. So this, it looks like, what is that, 22 millimeter? So let's go ahead and pull this off. This canister is going to come down with us. We'll have a rubber seal that's up around there. Make sure that that doesn't get stuck up there like the filter one did, because we need to remove it. The new one will come with it. Let's pull this down. She's going to drip a little bit, so get you a little pan or rag up under here. Okay, so if you think that you've been threading it for an hour, it's because the threads are thin. You probably have been. So we'll go ahead and lower her down. She's going to drip a little bit. There she is. Looks like the seal's stuck on that one too. Okay, so now we got her out here. Again, we're going to have to get that gasket off there. That's going to drip out a little bit more. Pretty gnarly stuff. This whole top is just going to come off. Let's see if I can do it with one. Yeah, there we go. One hand. Boy, that filter is just nasty. So look how black it is for transmission fluid. It's doing its job, right? So let's clean this up before we put it on the new filter. So we went with Wix 57702. got your new O-ring and your filter in there. Boy, look at that filter compared to that filter. So this one was actually coming apart too. I definitely know it was original. So let's get the O-ring out. I did get the other one out. It just pulled right out. Didn't even really need the picky tool, but okay, so now if you look at your gasket, you're like, huh, this side here, it sticks, and this side here, it falls off. So that must be how it goes on the sticky side. No, incorrect. So you're putting the filter on first. I said gasket, didn't I? So take the smaller side of the two, not the one with the hex side, but the other side. And the reason that it fits like that is to stick it up there so it holds by itself. Now the spring will go here and the canister. I think you understand that. Okay, now we will set that down inside there, spring part down, set our O-ring in it, and let's thread it up. Okay, so now we will just tighten her up, get her snug as you can by hand, and then crank it about a quarter turn with the wrench. You want that pretty tight. Okay, so now we're on top of the engine. We'll pull our dipstick and we'll put a funnel on there, and we will add our 7.5 quarts. In this case, it's going to take a little bit more. So what you want to do here, and that's because we have the second filter, the cooler, trans-cooler filter. So what you want to do here is go ahead and add the manufactured amount, 7.5, and then start it up, put it into drive, put it into reverse, put it into drive again. You don't have to move the vehicle, just put it in the gear, wait a second, shift it out of the gear. Put it into drive the second time, throw it into park, and while it's running, come back out and check the level. You probably have to add a little bit more, especially if you have that filter. So I think that's it, and then just top it off till she's full. So I hope this video helps you out. Please click like, please click subscribe, click on my name underneath my video for all my other how-to videos, including a rear end change that we done on this one. I'm sorry, a fluid change on the rear end. And as always, guys, enjoy.